Being mobile friendly isn't just nice to have anymore, it's a requirement. And if your B2B website doesn't work flawlessly on a phone or a tablet, you're not even in the game. Let me explain a little bit about what I mean and how you can make sure your site is set up to rank on mobile and convert visitors who are looking on their phones. I want to talk a little bit about what Google has actually said about having a mobile site for mobile first indexing. And essentially, what this says here is it is not required to have a mobile version of your pages to have your content included in Google search results, but is very strongly recommended. And there are a number of best practices to ensure you have set up on your website for mobile first indexing. What that means is basically, if you don't have a mobile version of your site, that is okay as long as your website or web pages can still be accessed mobilely with either responsive design, dynamic serving, or separate URLs. Now, there are a number of different ways to do this, but the biggest keys here are making sure your site is set up and easy to read on both desktops and phones. And a couple things here I wanted to talk about and the major issues that I still see on B2B websites almost every single day. The biggest things to think about here is when you're visiting a website on your phone, you want to make sure that buttons are not tiny and unclickable. So if you flip this around, you want clickable and large enough buttons so people can read them and click on them. Secondly, forms that are nightmares to fill out, very difficult to click into a box or to get to the next section. PDFs and white papers that don't render properly or display properly on mobile. Pop-ups that take over the entire screen with no easy close button. Slow loading times, especially problematic on mobile networks. It's a little bit less of an issue now, but slow loading times absolutely is critical. Navigation menus that are confusing or broken on smaller screens. And I'll show you a couple examples of websites where this is going on right now and should absolutely be cleaned up, and either build a new website that has a responsive design into it, where you have one website that functions correctly on both desktop and mobile versions, or build a mobile version of your site if necessary. Now, here's the thing. Many B2B companies still neglect mobile because they think buyers are only sitting at desks or their PC or their laptop. This creates an opportunity for companies that get it right, where you can stand out and not only work to have your website set up and structured well for people, but rank better in search as well. And oftentimes, if you rank well in search, you're going to rank well in AI. So a couple examples I wanted to share with you to show you that these websites look okay on a computer. In terms, at least in terms of how they're structured, there are a lot of design recommendations I would have here on this site specifically. You're scrolling left and right because the header section here is too large, so it's not set up correctly on a screen to display and snap down to the next line. But a lot of other issues here going on with this specifically for mobile. And if I look at this mobile friendly test here, this is a very misleading metric. You can see here a 100 mobile performance score, probably because the page loads quickly. However, if you look at this on a phone here, you can see how difficult it would be to click on anything. You'd have to pinch and zoom to get to any of these elements. And you can see here the issues. Text is too small to read, and it's too difficult to read. Secondly, the viewport meta tag is missing or incorrect. Now, this is just code speak basically saying that this is not set up correctly, and you should have either responsive design on your site or a mobile version. Another example here I wanted to share with you is this one here. This is another website, and they do have a lot of issues with pictures as well, but same process here. Website is set up and looks like it hasn't been updated in probably at least 15 years. The last copyright date is 2009. But if we look again at the mobile friendly test here, you can see how difficult it is to see anything or read anything on a phone. Again, a very misleading metric here, 99 mobile performance score. But again, text is too hard to read and the viewport is not set up. So these are two websites that should absolutely be redone to either include a full new website design with responsive, or at a minimum have a mobile version of the site. But based on what I can see here on the desktop version, also significant issues here. And these should both be cleaned up for these companies, because it's very likely that they're losing business if they're still operating because of how their website is currently set up. The big key is making sure your website is set up for not only desktop, but mobile as well, and making it as easy as possible for search engines to understand who you are, what you do, and make it easy for your potential customers to contact you, view your information, and access your website on any device they're on. That's it. Hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you on the next one.